I was going to school till I met somebody.
Met somebody?
Yeah, two big monsters with big green eyes.
This has been a difficult week for the State Department and for our country. We've seen the heavy assault on our post in Bengazi that took the lives of those brave men. We've seen rage and violence directed at American embassies over an awful internet video that we had nothing to do with. It is hard for the American.
One of the most dramatic moments in the Republican convention was when Pat Smith, the mother of Sean Smith, one of the people who died in Bengazi, stood up before the convention and blamed you for her son's death.
I blame Hillary Clinton. I blame Hillary Clinton personally for the death of my son. That's personally.
She and the father of Tyrone Woods both say that on the day that their sons' bodies were returned to the United States, that you came up to them and you said it was all because of a video, not terrorism. Now, I know some of the other families disagree with this, and I know you deny it. My question is, why would they make that up?
Chris, my heart goes out to both of them. Losing a child under any circumstances, especially in this case, two State Department employees, extraordinary men, both of them, two CIA contractors, gave their lives protecting our country, our values. I understand the grief and the incredible sense of loss that can motivate that. As other members of families who lost loved ones have said, that's not what they heard. I don't hold any ill feeling for someone who, in that moment, may not fully recall everything that was or wasn't.
Why,
Monsters? Weren't you afraid?
No, ma'am, but they tied me in a big sack.
FBI Director James Comey said none of those things that you told the American public were true.
Chris, that's not what I heard Director Comey say, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to, in my view, clarify. Director Comey said that my answers were truthful and what I've said is consistent with what I have told the American people. That there were decisions discussed and made to classify retroactively certain of the emails. I was communicating with over 300 people in my emailing. They certainly did not believe and had no reason to believe that what they were sending was classified. Now, in retrospect, different agencies come in and say, well, it should have been, but that's not what was happening in real time.
But in a congressional hearing on July 7th, Director Comey directly contradicted what you had told the public.
Secretary Clinton said there was nothing marked classified on her emails either sent or received. Was that true?
That's not true.
Secretary Clinton said I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material. Was that true?
There was classified material emailed.
He directly contradicted what...
Well,
let me just he not only directly contradicted what you said, he also said in that hearing that you were extremely careless.
I did not email any classified material to anyone. There is no classified material.
110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received.
I provided all my emails that could possibly be work-related.
Several thousand work-related emails that were not among the group of 30,000 emails returned by Secretary Clinton.
I thought using one device would be simpler.
She also used numerous mobile devices to send and to read email.
There were no security breaches.
It is possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account.
It was my practice to communicate with State Department and other government officials on their .gov accounts.
Hostile actors gained access to the private commercial email accounts of people with whom Secretary Clinton was in regular contact from her personal account.
No doubt that we've done exactly what we should have done.
They were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
People will be able to judge for themselves.
We cannot find a case that would support bringing criminal charges on these facts.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
To be clear, this is not to suggest that in similar circumstances, a person who engaged in this activity would face no consequences.
Americans will find that, interesting, and I look forward to having a discussion about that.
And where was Sir Jiminy?
Oh, Jiminy?
Leave me out of this.
They put him in a little sack.
No.
Over the years, I've gotten to know him as a colleague and a friend. His reputation for passionate advocacy hasn't always made him the most popular person in Washington. But you know what? That's generally a sign you're doing something right.
This week, when a Greenpeace activist cornered her about the support she receives from the oil and gas industry, Clinton blasted back.
I am so sick of the Sanders campaign lying about me. I'm sick of it.
Your husband received $800,000 for 4 speaking engagements, ostensibly in support of the trade deal, or by a group that supports the trade deal. You've given your own money to your campaign. Is that a conflict of interest? Is that a conflict of interest?
I mean, and how many angels dance on the head of a pin? I have really nothing to. I mean, how do you answer that?
When asked whether she supports a proposal by the New York State governor to issue driver's licenses to illegal immigrants,
I certainly recognize why Governor Spitzer is trying to do it.
first she said this.
It makes a lot of sense. What is the governor supposed to do?
5 seconds later, this.
Do I think this is the best thing for any governor to do? No.
Unless I missed something, Senator Clinton said 2 different things in the course of about 2 minutes.
I can't tell whether she was for it or against it.
I remember landing under sniper fire. There was supposed to be some kind of a greeting ceremony at the airport, but instead we just ran with our heads down to get into the vehicles to get to our base.
But those of us on that trip recall it differently. Instead of running for cover, Clinton was greeted by a schoolgirl who read her a poem of welcome.
Yes!
How did you escape?
I didn't. They chopped me into firewood.
You were against same-sex marriage, now you're for it. You defended President Obama's immigration policies, now you say they're too harsh. You supported his trade deal dozens of times. You even called it the gold standard. Now, suddenly last week, you're against it. Will you say anything to get elected?
Well, actually, I have been very consistent over the course of my entire life. I have always fought for the same values and principles.
Do you think New York State should recognize gay marriage?
No.
No. Okay.
I believe that marriage is not just a bond, but a sacred bond between a man and a woman. I have not supported same-sex marriage. I have supported civil partnerships and contractual relationships. I support marriage for lesbian and gay couples. I support it personally and as a matter of policy and law.
Perhaps you haven't been telling the truth, Pinocchio.
We can make our education system work for every one of our children. New York has spent a considerable amount of money and effort devising very good tests. I will end the unfunded mandate known as No Child Left Behind.
But remember, a boy who won't be good might just as well be made of wood.